Thank you for clicking on this video, and here we are, another week of Rank the Movies. I am Martin Prevost, and this week I'm ranking my top 10 favorite non-Marvel Cinematic Universe films. That's right, Marvel has movies that are not part of that extended universe, and I'm going to talk about my top 10 favorites. So of course, much like when I talked about my favorite DC movies, the Marvel imprint is definitely figured out. Those movies are on this list if I thought they deserved to be. And I'll cover those when I get there. Beyond that, this is anything that is not part of the MCU. It's a very varied list of movies, but we'll take a look at what I like and what I don't like. So first off, I need to cover my honorable mention, and that is Howard the Duck. Can't go anywhere without talking about Howard the Duck. It is a reviled movie. People hate this movie. It's pretty fun. It's an enjoyable duck movie. And it's the truth. It's an enjoyable duck movie. It's the first real Marvel movie. They had some serials, and they put out a couple other random movies, but Howard the Duck really was the beginning of Marvel in film. And why they started here, I don't know. This is a weird place to start, but it deserved the honorable mention spot for being nothing more than the first. We wouldn't have the MCU without Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck's in the MCU because of that simple fact as well, most likely. If you've never seen Howard the Duck, don't have high expectations. It's not an all-out great movie. It's not a wondrous piece of footage of cinema. It's about a duck from a world of ducks who gets transported to Earth, befriends a rock star, and tries to figure out how to get home. Jeffrey Jones plays the villain. It's fun, it's amusing, it's stupid, but it's worth the watch. Check it out if you've never seen Howard the Duck. Now to move on to the list proper, we've got number 10. And it's a tie. It's a first for Rank the Movies. We have a tie. I could not decide which one of these movies I liked slightly more or I hated slightly less. We have Daredevil and The Punisher in a tie for number 10. Again, movies that most people say, well, these are awful. Okay, yeah, they're not great movies. I enjoy them for completely different reasons than most people, but I do enjoy watching them. Ben Affleck isn't a great Daredevil, but he's passable. Michael Clarke Duncan is a fantastic Kingpin, though. He is a great villain. Colin Farrell as Bullseye, although his costume is ridiculous, he is a great Bullseye. The movie is very well done. Whether it's the choices they made is what makes people not like that movie, and I feel like Thomas Jane's Punisher is the same way. It's very Punisher-esque. It's him going after the man who murdered his family. In John Travolta's character, that's what it's about. That's what the Punisher is about. He didn't need a supervillain. He just needs the mobsters. So I think both of these movies have a lot of merit behind them. I think they're not as tragic and awful as most people lay them out to be. I generally enjoy both of these movies, and I like having them in my collection. It doesn't mean I think they're the greatest, but I liked them enough to include them on the list. So that will take us to number 9. X-Men First Class. I was really surprised with this movie when I saw it. After X-Men The Last Stand, I had such low expectations for X-Men, but this movie saved it. It steps back into the past, and it just looks at how Xavier and Magneto met. This movie spent a long time in developmental hell, going through a lot of different ideas, and originally it was supposed to be a Magneto movie with Xavier part of it, then they moved it into First Class. I think Kevin Bacon as Sebastian Shaw is great. He does such a good job as the villain of this movie. And you get a lot of interesting characters. It gives a weird story for Mystique, which was nice. I didn't expect Mystique to be a main player and have such a robust storyline in the series, but she does. It's really cool. You get Nicholas Hoult as Beast. It is a very well done and fleshed out movie that really shows you the relationship between Charles Xavier and Eric Lenchner and how they're friends but also rivals in the grand scheme of things. I think they continued to be very good movies in this series, and there are some definite dreck in this series of X-Men films. Overall, from X-Men all the way down to Dark Phoenix. I think there are good movies and there are dreck. This is one of the good ones. Check it out if you've never seen it. It's worth it. It is definitely a movie worth watching. Plus, you'll need to watch it for something later on. Number 8, Blade. Nobody knew this was a Marvel movie. Nobody knew this was a comic book movie when it came out. This isn't a Marvel import either. This is actually Marvel. Blade debuted in the pages of Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Wesley Snipes' Blade movie. It is such a fun movie. It is such a good movie. It spawned 2 sequels, a TV show, and they're gonna bring Blade into the MCU at some point. It's just about Wesley Snipes as a half man, half vampire, because his mother was bit by a vampire when she was pregnant with him. He can walk. He's called a day walker because he can walk in the day, and his quest is to kill vampires. That's it. Steven Dorff plays the vampire he wants to kill in this movie. It's so well done. It's got some great action scenes, some great set designs. It's a very well done movie. And the fact that it did so well without anyone really knowing it was a comic book movie, without the mainstream audience there saying, it's a comic book movie, it's just a testament to this movie, all in all. If you've never seen any of the Blade movies, I mean, they get worse as you get through the 3 of them, but the first one is so good, the second one is decent, and the third one is funny. And not any of the good ways. It's not haha funny, it's oh my funny. But this one is a superior film. Check it out, it's Blade. It's a good time. That brings us to number 7. Men in Black. This is a Marvel imprint film. If you watch the Men in Black movies, you'll see, released by Marvel. It's not even like the comic book intro. It's literally just in the opening credits. It'll say it's Marvel. It's from one of their imprints, but it's Men in Black. This is such a good movie. Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith, they're part of an organization that tracks aliens on Earth, and they deal with them either through force or through talking. It spawned 2 sequels, which are almost as good as the first one. They're not as good. They don't surpass the first one, but they are very good. And offshoot that's watchable. Men in Black International is watchable, but Men in Black, it is such a great movie. If you've never taken the time to check it out, do it. It is a fun film that's really, it's worth the time to put into it. You'll enjoy it. I promise you that. It's a good time. And, Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones are very good actors. And they work so well together. They have such great chemistry. Men in Black, it's a good time. Number 6, the original X-Men movie. So, this is the Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen X-Men movie. The debut movie for Hugh Jackman. It's his debut. This is where Wolverine starts. Is right here in X-Men. It's very simple plot. You have Magneto and his Brotherhood of Mutants trying to mutate the human race so everyone can feel what it's like to be a mutant. And you have Charles Xavier and his band of X-Men trying to stop him. It's a simple plot, but it's done so well. And the fact that this is the first real team-up movie that had come out, normally had just been standalone superhero films. We had Blade, we had Batman, we had Superman, we had Howard the Duck. Not a great example, but it's there. And this is what spurred the comic book movies on. This rejuvenated comic book movies to launch into where we ended up right now. This is what started that. Comic book movies had, died, basically. You could sell Batman and Superman, but you weren't selling anyone else. Again, Blade had come out by this point, but nobody knew Blade was a comic book movie. Men in Black came out. Nobody knew Men in Black was a comic book movie. X-Men was the well-known comic book movie we needed to launch all these other comic book movies to create what we got. It took almost 10 years to get Iron Man and start the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it still stemmed from this. It's a great movie. If you've never checked out X-Men, definitely do it. It's not the best movie in the X-Men film series, but it's one of the highlights of it. Some people say the sequel is the superior film, X2, X-Men United. It's okay. It's a good movie. But X-Men is the better movie of the original trilogy. That's good to note. Of the original trilogy, X-Men is the superior movie. But it's still a good time. So let's move into the top 5. At number 5, X-Men Origins Wolverine. This is the one. This is the one if I get comments or people wanting to talk to me about why I like a movie. This is it. This is here, number 5. X-Men Origins Wolverine. I really like this movie. This is such a good movie. It's such a well done movie. It's Hugh Jackman's first time going at it as Wolverine by himself. It's the first appearance of Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, even though it gets retconned in his standalone films. This is still his first appearance as Deadpool, and it's just a well done movie. It's a prequel film to the X-Men series proper. At that point, it was X-Men, X2, and X3. But it's a prequel to that series of films, and it's done very well. It holds its own, and I like it. It's Wolverine getting the adamantium implanted into him, losing his memory. It is his prequel story. I think they do a good job with it. Levi Strode plays Sabretooth in this movie, which is great. My sticking point on that is Sabretooth is also an X-Men, played by I can only think of his last name is Maine. He also played Michael Myers in the Halloween movies that Rob Zombie did. I want to say Thomas Maine, but I know that's wrong. I know that's absolutely wrong, and hopefully I think of it when I'm editing, and I put it down below. If I don't, yell at me. Feel free to yell at me. Okay? Alright. So that kind of weird that they recast Sabretooth, but I get why, because that is the superior actors in this movie, and he does such a good job with it. If you've never seen X-Men Origins Wolverine because you heard people say, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, don't listen to them. Check it out. It is worth the watch. It's worth the time. You might not love it, but it's an enjoyable film. So let's talk about number 4, Logan. This is my favorite Hugh Jackman-centered movie. This is the last movie Hugh Jackman did as Wolverine. It's also one of the newest. It came out in 2018. It's a really good story. You get Patrick Stewart back as Charles Xavier. You get X-23 in there. They do a good job with it. It's definitely a story that came from love when they were writing it. It's based on the Old Man Logan series of comic books where it looks at what happens when Logan gets old and he starts to lose some of his power. His healing factor isn't as good as it was when he was a young man. But at this point, he's almost 200 years old, probably, somewhere in that land. He's old. And he's starting to feel the effects of age for the first time. And he hasn't really done anything to future himself. He doesn't have kids. He doesn't have anything like that. But he takes this young child who's cloned from him, taken from his genetics, and he begins to be a parent. It is a good movie. If for some reason you haven't watched Logan, check it out. It's worth the time. It is all around. It is a very good movie. Let's move on to number 3. X-Men, Days of Future Past. A lot of X-Men movies, but a lot of what that isn't part of the MCU is X-Men. Days of Future Past is my favorite X-Men movie. I thought it melded the two worlds so nicely together. Basically, in the future, the Sentinels, which we finally get the Sentinels, are hunting down and murdering mutants. A band of mutants have found a way to avoid this catastrophe of being murdered by the Sentinels by sending one of their members back in time a few days to warn them all to get out of where they are. So when the Sentinels attack, they're not there. They decide that their best bet is to go back in time and stop the Sentinels from being created, thereby erasing the future that they are now a part of. This idea comes from Charles Xavier and Eric Lenchner, so Professor X and Magneto, played by Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. But the only person they can send back in time who will survive the rigors of time travel is Wolverine, played by Hugh Jackman. Plus, he existed in both times, and he's roughly the same age. So, Logan is sent back in time through use of Kitty Pryde, who is known as the Shadow Cat, who is able to use her power, which is basically allows her to pass through her walls, but she figures out how to allow her to pass through time and space. This is actually a comic book story. It comes from the comics, and that is how it's done in the comics as well. So Logan goes back in time, and now he's interacting with James McAvoy as his Charles Xavier character and the X-Men First Class characters. This is the sequel to X-Men First Class. That's who he's interacting with as they try to stop the Sentinels from becoming a thing in the 1970s. It is such a well-done movie. Everything, they meld these two worlds so great. They know that they need to focus on the past, because that's where the main story elements are, but they still keep you entwined with the future stuff as well. It doesn't quite explain how Xavier is still alive after X3, where he dies, but they already don't explain that at the end of the Wolverine, where he shows up, which is the setup for this movie. It is a very well done film. You get a lot of mutants, you get a lot of characters. They bring back as many people as they can from the original series. So X-Men, X2, and X3, they bring back as many people as they can from that original series to kind of round out this film and bring their own characters into the movie or back from the dead. It is a very amazingly done film. If you've never watched it, check it out. I will warn you, watching X-Men First Class and the original X-Men movie at minimum is almost a requirement for this film, just so you understand who the characters are and mainly who the characters are, but it's worth it. Even just to watch those 3 movies, which I have all put on this list, it's all worth it. Now let's talk about something slightly better and less X-Men related at number 2. Kingsman, The Secret Service. I talked about it in my February dump month, so if you just watched that video, I talked about Kingsman there. This is a great movie. It is such a well done movie, and it's another one, most people didn't realize it was a comic book movie. It's another Marvel import, so Marvel isn't stapled all over the movie, but it is based on a comic book series that Marvel publishes, called Kingsman: The Secret Service. The connection basically ends there between the comics and the movie, but the movie is based on the comics. Basically, you have Eggsy, our main character, who is played, which I love, because this movie does not credit Eggsy, our main character, in the cast list. It credits Colin Firth, who is his mentor, Samuel Jackson, who is the villain, and Michael Caine, who is the leader of the organization of the Secret Service. That's all. And spoiler alert, they all die by the end of the movie. So the entire credited cast of this movie that's on any piece of posters and media are dead by the time the movie wraps up. It's fun. Anyways, we have Eggsy, who gets brought into into Kingsman, which is a secret service founded by the wealthy after World War II. There, he's being taught, learning what it takes to be a Kingsman, as Richmond Valentine, played by Sam Jackson, is trying to save the Earth by reducing the human population, by having us kill each other through a SIM chip he's given out that gives everyone free internet for life. It's a great movie. It's a fun film. If you've never seen Kingsman, check it out. The sequel's pretty good too. And of course, The King's Man comes out later this year, which is the prequel. It's definitely worth the watch if you've never seen it. Check it out. So, here we are. Number 1. Top of the heap. Best of the best. Primo Supreme. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Number 1. Deadpool. Was there any doubt? Was there any doubt Deadpool wasn't going to be number 1? Now you might say I said less X-Men. That X-Men Days of Future Past is the top. Deadpool, as much as Deadpool is an X-Men character, his movies have so little to do with the X-Men. They're basically their own thing at this point. Colossus is in both. Take that for what it means. Colossus is in both. They don't have a lot of carryover beyond that. It's a great movie. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. It's amazing. For some reason you haven't seen it, check it out. It's worth it. It is a good time. Deadpool is a guy who's in love, who finds out he is going to die of cancer. Not just, cancer in one spot. Cancer in basically every organ of his body. He goes up to find a treatment, and he finds one, which turns him into a mutant. A very disfigured mutant with a healing factor. A very good healing factor, where if he, loses an arm, his arm will grow back. So it's good for Deadpool. It's a proper healing factor for someone of Deadpool's needs. He then goes out to try to save the woman he loves and defeat the evil douchebag who turned him into a mutant. It's a revenge story, but it's a love story too. It's both. It's great. Check it out if you've never seen it before, because it is well worth the number 1 spot in this list. And there isn't a lot more I can say about it that isn't. It's worth it. It's worth checking out. See Deadpool. If you haven't, see Deadpool 2 as well. If you just really want to see Deadpool 2, but with a really funny frickin' wraparound story, see Once Upon a Deadpool. It's fun. It's enjoyable. Alright, so that is me talking about the non-MCU films. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe I said something that interested you. If you have any comments, leave them below. Hit subscribe if you want to see what other videos I have to offer. Press the like button to say that you liked this video. And tune in next week. Next week, I've talked DC movies. I've talked Marvel movies now. Next week, it's time to talk comic book movies that have absolutely nothing to do with either Marvel or DC. See you then.